cats rule, dogs drool, and you are cool for listening to this episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Reflux capacitor, fluxing, crew to stations. Scanning for Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, 1993. Prepare to rewind in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome, Rewinders and new listeners, to the Retro Rewind podcast, where we take a fresh look at movies and games from 15 or more years ago. I am your captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz, and I'm joined by your XO and mine, Paul, the master interrupter, Paul Powers.
I'll take it. Hey, we all understand that, you know, dogs drool more than cats, but it's my personal belief that dogs also rule.
I agree. I would agree with that. Awesome, Paul. Also, for this discussion of the film Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, we welcome back aboard magician, theater actor, and director Daryl Hafner. Welcome back, Daryl.
Thanks. How's it going, guys?
Going well. Do dogs rule or do cats rule?
Definitely dogs.
All right. With 3 for 3 here. And not only do we have Daryl for this movie review, but also co-host of the Cellcast podcast and Backlog Golf Bookie, Drew Dodgen. Welcome back, Drew.
Hey, how's it going? And I have to let you know, it's cats that rule and dogs that drool. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. Well, you're outnumbered, unfortunately, Drew. So
was Sassy.
I guess
Welcome aboard, Sassy.
And look what happened to her. Went over a waterfall. Don't go
She
chasing.
survived.
Don't go making phony calls. Now, okay. Now, it just so happens that this is both Drew and Daryl's third time on the pod. So your incredible journey of being official Retro Rewind podcast crew begins now. Congrats on earning the rank of shipman. So what areas of the ship do you want to serve in? Let's start with Daryl.
So I know you guys had a bunch of entertainment. I was wondering, do you guys have like techies, like the lights and sound guys?
We don't. Yeah, we need more of those. Edna Mode needs more of those.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
I like working the sound and lights and stuff at the theater. So I thought, and at the church. So I thought maybe I'd figure out what you would call that on the ship. But
I think ship's technology or ship's technology shipment. We'll go with that.
The AV club? I don't know.
I was thinking technology specialist.
Specialist, perfect.
Yeah.
It has to be shipment also. We had to work it in also. Technology specialist shipment. I guess that could work. And how about you, Drew?
I'd like record keeper since I've done so well with the golf.
Okay, so
Right.
we have ship's historian. You can work with Celeste Zamora. So
Sure.
Yeah, awesome. So another historian.
Tag
Fantastic. What was that, Paul?
I said tag team.
Exactly. And now that you have so congrats to you guys again. And now that you have a quick flyby of who we are, Paul, can you give us a quick overview of the production specs for Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, the longest name in history?
Oh, I've got longer.
I was about to say. Well, we'll stick with Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey this time.
All
It was
right.
released February 12th, 1993, and runs an hour and 24 minutes. It is rated G, and it was directed by Dwayne Dunham. It was written by Sheila Burnford, or at least the novel was, and Caroline Thompson wrote the screenplay. The lead stars being Michael J. Fox, Sally Field, and Don Alder, who I did not see any of those three. And the music was composed by Bruce Broughton.
Broughton?
we'll go with
Yeah,
that.
sure. Yeah.
Broughton. All right, you ready for the box office trivia game?
Let's see. Drew and Daryl, are you guys ready?
Yeah.
And chat,
do
hopefully
it.
you're ready. Let's go, Paul.
Okay, the budget of Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey cannot be substantiated since precise records were not kept after Tannen shot a newspaper editor who printed an unfavorable story about him. However, it earned over $41 million at the box office worldwide.
All right, we'll say that made money probably.
Maybe. I don't know. It might be $60 million to shoot the cats and everything.
Yes.
Anyway, given this and the fact that it came out in 1993, how high in the box office do you think it ranks among the other movies released theatrically in 1993?
Any idea how many movies total were released?
We'll go, it's in the top 50.
Top 50 again. Okay.
It made $41 million.
All right.
In 1993.
In 93. Drew, what's your guess?
I'm going to take it right down the middle and say 25.
25. How about you, Daryl? 19. Ashley in chat says 34. Bobo says, who did Paul say was third star? Don Alder? Did you say Adler?
I might have said that.
Dr. Adler. 42 from Bobo, of course.
Good, Bobo.
All right. Well, for me, I'm going to guess, I imagine this is pretty popular. So I'm going to go all the way up to 10.
Nice.
All right.
I thought it was popular too, but it made $41 million and it was also 41.
Oh, really? So I guess
good job, Bobo.
Bobo, yeah, good job, Bobo. Your Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy finally pays off.
It was.
I don't think so. So
it's bound to happen eventually.
Exactly. Bam, he says. All right.
Statistically, anyway.
Well, thank you for those factoids, Paul. And let's see if any of them factor into our memory mind meld or subsequent roundtable discussion once Alice has located our target film.
Alert. Approaching target. Spoilers incoming. Establishing analysis vector.
From Walt Disney Pictures comes the story of three extraordinary friends on an incredible journey home.
Home is just over that mountain.
Wow. I hope you know what you're doing.
A journey into danger.
Whoa. Guys, wait up.
Where they must work together.
Hang on, Sassy.
If they hope to survive.
I mean, this is like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Walt Disney Pictures presents Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Rated G. Starts Friday, February 12th at a theater near you.
I don't think so. I don't think that movie's playing near me.
Well,
By the way, I was about to say Don Alder played Molly's father, so I think I did see him on screen.
Oh, really?
But yeah.
Oh, okay. I have no idea, but that's good to know. That commercial definitely brings back some memories about Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, the longest title in history. But to give you some context for the things we collectively remembered about Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, the longest title in history, before our rewatch, here's your memory mind meld synopsis. Why am I talking so fast?
Doesn't matter. Keep going. Go.
Thanksgiving, and Chance likes turkey. Family of 5 goes on a vacation and has to leave their 3 pets, 2 dogs, and a cat at a shelter. Shadow dies after saving Chance from being attacked by a mountain lion, but miraculously recovers. Resurrected? What? Dogs rule and cats drool. They make it to their home somehow. Also, turkey. I mean, there were elements of that in this movie, but I'd say on the whole, it was decepted. But based on those memories, as flawed as they were, what rating did they lead you to predict for this film before rewatching it? Classic, nostalgic, or tragic? Let's start with Daryl this time.
Before the movie, I was guessing nostalgic.
Nostalgic. How about you, Drew? What was your prediction?
I was also predicting nostalgic.
Okay. Paul, I'm sure, was predicting classic because it's Disney.
Well, no, because I saw it in the theater and remember liking it.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost 30 years ago now,
Oh, wow.
but I haven't seen it since.
Oh.
But yes, I rated it as classic.
Okay. I knew it.
Well, at least that's what I predicted.
What do you think I predicted for this, Paul?
Tragic.
You got it.
You know what?
Oh,
If
no.
you didn't know
I'm
it was
sorry.
Disney, I thought you were going to say nostalgic.
No, yes, it was nostalgic. I don't know why. I read the wrong thing.
Oh,
Anyway.
Oh, nice.
What happened in
Hey,
saving it?
I'm going behind the curtain. Let's continue. It'll be interesting to see if those predictions came true. But first, let's get into our discussion of the things we liked most about Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, the longest title in history. Let's spin up our
Best 3.
or best 2 in this case. Let's go around and say one thing we liked each, starting with Drew. What's something you liked about this film?
I have to say that Rattler, the dog that played Chance, has got to be my favorite one of the animals in this movie.
The pit bull, right?
In terms of the animal actors,
Mm-hmm.
because apparently all those times where he accidentally stepped in a gopher hole and then ran smack into the tree, those actually happened because of how the dog was.
Yeah.
And I always thought those points were funny, and Michael J. Fox did good ad libs to make up for those times.
Totally.
But yeah, I just loved how energetic Rattler was in this movie. It really fit the character pretty well.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
Right in.
Oh, go ahead,
That
Paul.
goes into my like, because I surprisingly enjoyed the humor. I was laughing out loud so hard when he ran into that tree, and he wasn't hurt by it. It was one of those. And some of the lines I thought were funny, like the squirrel. It looks like a squirrel with a really bad hair day, or he says, "I got bitten by his butt." Things like that. Just,
Arnold Schwarzenegger, stuff like that.
yeah, was unexpected, and I really enjoyed that.
Well,
It's Birdzilla! Ironically, a turkey.
That goes right into something I liked, which was I loved Chance and Sassy's verbal sparring. They're always like going back and forth in sort of a playful way that friends that are like annoyed with each other a lot of the time, like me and Paul, will go back and forth.
Oh yeah, you go back and forth with that friend, but if anybody else messes with that friend, you better look out.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way of putting it. So that's something I enjoyed. Daryl, how about you? Was it one of the characters or something else?
Well, I'll kind of tie in. I didn't do like an individual character. I did the three pets' personalities.
Yes.
Overall, like just it seemed to fit the dog. Each dog, the personality, just to look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It fits so well. I mean, like
nailed it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, the old looking Shadow, the young pup Chance, and Sassy, just they paired the actors and actresses to the dogs great, or the animals great, and then I liked the old wise dog, and then the young one, and then just the prim and proper. I thought they nailed. I thought it was a great team. Whatever.
Yeah.
I love how they took the guy from Airplane and paired him as the dad in this one. It was a great pairing. No, I totally agree with you, Daryl. I'm not trying to belittle what you said. I was just trying to be comedic. I'm glad you got it, Paul. So all I was saying, I was just making a reference that Robert Hayes, who was in Airplane, was a perfect fit for the dad in this. Like you were saying, the animals were perfect fits for the voices.
Oh, okay.
I was being slow.
I wouldn't have gotten it because I haven't seen Airplane. So.
Oh, okay. I'm like, where is this guy from? Oh, Airplane. That's where.
Yeah. Now I recognize the dad, the actor. I don't know where from, but I know it wasn't Airplane because I haven't seen that.
It was from the Airplane trailers or commercials.
Maybe. Awesome, guys. So those are some things we liked. A lot of the characters, a lot of the animals in general. But I'm surprised none of those were our classic makers. So that begs the question, or asks the question, wherever the phrase is. Someone told me that that's the wrong way to say that. Patch, I know you're listening. That gets us to the point of talking about our classic makers, let's say. So let's start with Daryl. What's the thing you loved most about Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, the longest title in history?
So I kind of switched it. I had the animals as my classic because it fit. I more than willing to switch it.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
But for me, the other thing I really liked was I'll say the scenery shots. They weren't like green screen, like the woods, the mountains, and everything. Those looked like genuine, like outdoor shots, not like
they were.
I never thought.
Not like green screened or anything like that. Those I loved those shots. Like it was all like it all looked like it was on scene. And it made a huge difference. Like even to today's stuff where they can get it looking good, you can't replicate like genuine stuff. And it for me that was huge. It looked great. All those shots.
I never
really transported you out there with them.
Yes. Yeah, it did. So the river, the mountains, just the ranch itself, and just all those scenic shots. For me, that was great.
Yeah.
I loved
Is that
all
enough
those.
to boost Francisco's rating? We'll find out.
Maybe it doesn't need to be boosted. Who knows? Awesome, Daryl. Drew, was there something about the cinematography or something else that made your classic maker, or was it some completely different?
Oh, my classic maker was Sally Field's performance as the voice of Sassy.
Oh, really?
Really?
Huh. Why her particularly?
She, I felt, was the most in tune with the character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as much as I liked Rattler's performance as Chance, Michael J. Fox was playing Michael J. Fox for the most of it, in my opinion. But you get to Sassy, and she made me laugh so many stinking times in this movie. She has some of the best lines in the whole movie, like when she's being chased by the fat dog pet pound person, and he keeps going, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty," and she goes, "No, dummy, dummy, dummy."
That was pretty good. Or was it dummy, 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 I think. Not doggy, doggy, doggy.
I said dummy, dummy, dummy.
Oh, I heard doggy, doggy, doggy. Excuse me. No, Daryl, we're not going to let you talk. No, continue.
Yeah, I know how it goes. No. But when we were kids, the line at the same, when she's talking to the same character as a kid, we loved quoting "This way, Thunderbutt."
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Also, I liked her line to Chance near the beginning. "Is that any way to speak to a petite dewdrop, you big flat-faced butt sniffer?"
You know what? That's a good point. For whatever reason, I liked her performance, and a lot of the lines were great. Something about it didn't really, I don't know what it was. It wasn't quite jiving for me It
wasn't Roseanne Barr being all sassy, because that's how I remembered it, but it wasn't.
I don't know. It seemed sassy to me.
They didn't, for some reason, it didn't seem to jive with the other two. I don't know why. I just don't get it.
It's like oil and water. It's supposed to be.
I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Very aloof, very like whatever.
I don't know what it is, Paul. I don't know what it is.
You're not a cat lover like Drew is.
A good point.
Obviously, with Garfield up here.
Oh,
yeah.
And the Voltron lions, those are all cats. I mean, geez.
Exactly.
Paul.
That's so weird because I have to completely disagree with you respectfully, Drew, because
the Voltrons are dogs. Go ahead.
No. That's the worst iteration of Voltron.
It's made of Lego.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. But getting back to the movie, I really enjoyed Don Amici's voice as Shadow.
Oh,
I don't
really?
even know if that's even how you pronounce his name, but I only remember him from Cocoon. But my classic maker was hearing Michael J. Fox's voice as Chance. Just because it's been a while since I've heard him in a different role besides Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Now, back in the 90s, he was voicing like so many things that was getting nauseating between... Oh, yeah, like, what is that? Stuart Little and like Atlantis.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He was doing all sorts of voiceover work. And so there's plenty out there, but it's been a while since I've watched any of them. So it was nice to get that enthusiastic, fun-loving time with him again.
Nice. And Bobo confirms your pronunciation of Amici. I think that's what you said.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Excellent. For once, I got it right.
Good job. As long as it's not a Japanese name, you're fine.
I want to reply to Cardinal Paladin back there. He asked what my Kingdom Hearts connection would be for this, since I always do that on our podcast.
Uh-huh.
I'm going with Frank Welker as Experiment 221 in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
That's a fair connection.
Is that a Lilo and Stitch reference?
It was the Lilo and Stitch level, yes.
How did you know that? That's impressive.
I mean,
because I've said that one about 10 times because we've done a lot of Frank Welker movies that Frank Welker was in recently.
There you go.
So and that's the only role he has. That's how I have it memorized.
Nice.
So, those are the classic makers. Oh, I guess I should have mine. I really enjoyed, it was such a sweet, heartwarming moment when Shadow and Chance think that Sassy's dead, and then they reunite, they hear each other, and it's like, my boys. That was really pulled at my heartstrings in a good way. So that was my classic maker, that moment of the film.
I thought you were going to say when the cat almost died and when the other dog almost died.
I'm not heartless, Paul. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Wait, Francisco's not heartless? When was that a case?
since his heart grew 3 sizes that one time.
That one time, yeah.
okay.
What was that for?
Yeah, I was on that podcast when we reviewed The Grinch.
What?
Yeah.
No, but it was for another movie where my heart actually grew 3 sizes. Or what? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I just know that's where the reference is from, and I was on that podcast. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my classic maker, but there's something else I forgot, guys. You might even say it's Untold. You see, because it's the Untold Podcast, a speculative fiction podcast utilizing the genres of science fiction, fantasy, and horror, among others, in order to engage the culture's imagination from a Christian worldview. Every month, Nathan James Norman produces and narrates a new story presented in a unique and dynamic way. Some of my favorite episodes are Standoff, a flash fiction about a good cop snake in a robotic suit, and The True Light, a fairy tale about a heroine who uses her mythical light to find those lost in a deep cave, and that's episode 13. Check out the Untold Podcast at untoldpodcast.com to listen and leave them a review on Apple Podcasts.
Is that it?
Yes, that was it.
There was nothing about Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey in there.
No, but see here, Paul, you're a smart guy. I'm surprised you didn't pick up on this. The stories of cats and dogs, they can't tell them. They're untold.
Oh, I would have liked that if you just didn't kind of give me like a backhanded like insult. Okay.
You know what? I apologize, Paul. You are genuinely a smart fella. So,
All right.
but
I'm not fishing or anything.
okay.
So,
In fact,
Sassy never taught me that.
In fact, you're so smart. I bet you could guess at the trivia coming up. Would you like to hear some trivia?
Is it about yes?
Is
Yes,
it
I
about
would love to
yes?
hear some
Yeah, it's
trivia.
about that.
I interrupted myself there. Sorry, go for it.
Did you all realize that when the Sievers,
Wait, from Growing Pains?
no,
Mike Seaver?
Apparently, that's the name of the family.
What?
I guess.
Was that even in the movie?
Yeah, that was the name of the of the quote unquote father. The rest of them had a different name because I don't remember
they
what
just
it
got
is.
married.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you all realize that when the Seaver and family, because the dad's the only one named Seaver apparently, are driving to Kate's ranch, Chance says, "Bat dog," and Chance is the one voiced by Michael J. Fox. He says "bat dog" out the window, which is a reference to Batman. And Michael J. Fox was actually considered for the part of Robin when the filmmakers were considering introducing him in Batman 1989. I had no idea Robin was even going to be a thing there. But ultimately, that idea got scrapped. So my question to you guys is, what animal would you like to see get a superhero story made for them? So not specific, actual like Chance or anything, but like I'd like to see a dog, or I'd like to see I don't know, a whale or something like that. As a superhero.
The first thing that came to mind was Plucky Duck when he is Bat Duck, but I'd like to see a full feature movie about that, but that doesn't count, right?
Not really. I mean, I guess you could say duck.
No.
But they've gotten superhero treatments with like Darkwing Duck and
yeah. A full movie of that would be great.
All right.
I agree with that.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
Some animal that hasn't gotten that. How about that?
All right.
Daryl, what do you think?
That's what I'm trying to think. You said something that hasn't been done, and I go, my first instinct is to go like wolf or eagle or something, but they've had that kind of treatment, I'm sure.
Yeah. But while you guys are thinking, in chat, Kevin says the tick. Yeah, that's been done. Kevin. Let's see. Bobo says a bee. Eric the half a bee. I guess is that. I feel like that's a pun, but I'm not getting the joke. So
how about a narwhal? I don't think anyone's done that.
Oh, a narwhal. That'd be cool. For me, I think it'd be cool.
Wrong.
Oh, go ahead, Drew.
I was just gonna say the one I had. I just remembered. Oh yeah, that's actually in My Hero Academia. So now I got to think again.
All right. Well, I'm going to say platypus because I feel like that they look sweet, but
I'm about to say there's Perry the platypus and Phineas and Ferb, but
that's what it is. Phineas and Ferb. Yeah,
I haven't seen that because that's Disney, right?
You should. It's hilarious.
All right, guys. Maybe this is a poor. I thought there wasn't going to be many animals, but fine.
I'll go with a frog, even though I think a Proppy and My Hero Academia, but that's technically a human with frog powers.
Okay.
So I'll go with Frog.
Awesome. Frog.
Super Frog.
Super
hopping powers.
How about you, Daryl?
Along with Super Grover.
I'll go with a snake.
Snake, okay.
I don't know if it's actually been done, but snake would probably be cool.
Nice.
Aww,
and Paul, did you? Oh, yeah, you said narwhal.
I said narwhal.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, guys. Okay, a giant lizard that breathes fire. Oh, nice, Kevin. Nice.
Yes, radioactive. Great trivia, Francisco. And
Thank you,
I
Paul.
have the answer to our recent audience question. But before we get there, I want to ask Francisco, what animal would you choose that hasn't been chosen for?
I can't go with platypus. You're making me choose something else. Fine.
See, it's hard. While he's thinking about that, our previous audience question again, which Karate Kid film was your favorite?
We actually did not get any answers for that, so no one gets a Fourth Dimensional fan membership. But regardless, I'm sure you were all thinking in your head when we asked. So Daryl says 2. Awesome. And for me,
cool. I still need to watch all those.
Well, I guess that's actually, I hear more and more people that haven't seen all those. So you're in good company, Drew. I will say, back to the question at hand, though, about which animal, I'm going to go sort of in line with you, Paul, and say an orca or a killer whale. I think that'd be awesome to see a superhero
Free Willy superhero. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's turn it around to the listeners, and let's hear their answer.
Actually,
what animal, which is, I should say, this is this episode's listener question. What animal would you like to see get a superhero story made for them?
There you go. We have blobfish also in chat. That's an interesting take. Is that a type of fish? I haven't heard of it.
That is a type of fish.
Okay, well.
It's named after what happens when you bring it to the surface. It turns into a giant blob.
Okay. Like the guy from X-Men.
And it dies. Because it can't survive under that low pressure.
Like most fish, yeah.
Anyway, send your answers about which animal you would want to be a superhero to trivia@retrorewindpodcast.com by the time we record our next episode, which usually gives you a week and a couple days after if you listen to this the day it's released. But now that we have all had some trivial fun, let's find out what memories you, our awesome rewinders, had about Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey. David Gardner says he absolutely loves this movie. Classic for me.
Alex Ortiz says, don't be such a sissy, Sassy.
Dallas Panda Marshall Morris says, evil trick of the enemy. I don't remember that. Who says that?
I don't remember that either.
I thought he was referring to something else, but
maybe. Okay.
Gonna make it weird and boring.
Okay.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Ashley Crowenbitter says, Sassy Sally Field, the cat, a bulldog that sounds suspiciously like Marty McFly, and the grandpa golden retriever voiced by the late great Don Amici. I don't remember much, but I vaguely remember the intensity of the waterfall scene and crying in the last act of the film over Shadow.
Aww.
I still get misty-eyed thinking about those scenes to this day, even though I haven't seen the film in over 20 years.
Whoa.
This film was an emotional roller coaster for my 7-year-old self, and I'm not ready for another ride anytime soon.
Fair.
I hear that.
Danae Berg says that final scene is just so timeless. Travis and I quote it regularly. He was just too old. It was just too far. Shadow! And then the music swell. Oh. I grew up watching this movie a lot. Great character voice acting and complicated family dynamics really rounded the movie out well. Thumbs up.
Stephen Forrester says, I remember loving the characters quite a lot. Shadow, just because I liked his breed. Chance, because I liked his personality and humor in the movie. And Sassy, because of her sarcastic wit. I also remember being a bit frightened at the waterfall scene and wondering if Sassy was going to die.
Ricky Lambert says, growing up watching this and then finally seeing the original and not enjoying it because the animals didn't talk to each other.
Wardale White says, I remember seeing the movie, but being more of a fan of the original movie entitled simply The Incredible Journey, narrated by Rex Allen Sr., the talking animals took me out of the film. I wasn't a fan of hearing Roseanne Barr as one of them. I have no desire to see it again. That said, I pray you guys will enjoy the movie. See, I thought it was Roseanne Barr too. I'm not the only one. So.
Okay. And it's funny that Ricky and Dale have conflicting ideas about which one's the better version. And I had no idea that there was a previous version to this that was just called The Incredible Journey. Also by Disney, but don't tell Francisco that. Oh, my word. We actually got, for another comment from Kevin Joshua Burnham, he sent in a video of his reaction or memory. So we'll play that now.
Hey guys, this is Kevin here, the Dapper Man. I just want to say I didn't really care for this movie. I actually had it on DVD, bought it for 25 cents at a thrift store. Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Such a long title for a film. I guess they were planning on making a sequel, which they did. It's not really that good in my opinion at all. I believe it's rubbish. I believe the jokes, it falls flat because most of the jokes is all about butt, poop, and fart, which is not very funny and it's very foul. I didn't really care for it as a child. My brothers just loved the film. I just did not. For an animal film, I would say the score for the film is actually really good. Better than what the movie it should be for the film. If you want to watch a better film, I would say that of Babe. Better direction, better written, and better voicing, in my opinion. But that is my thoughts for Homeward Bound. It's a pass. Tragic.
Ooh.
Wow.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, I'm disagreeing with that.
Yeah, I totally disagree. Yeah. Babe's no good.
Oh, I'm
not a fan of Babe.
I've actually never seen Babe. It just does not appeal to me at all.
It's been years.
Yeah, I've seen it in the theater like this.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how it holds up.
So thank you for sending
people had a podcast about.
Thank you for sending that in, Kevin. And finally, David Bobke, that's our Babo, says, "Gentlemen, it's been a while since I've seen it. Thinking back on it, I feel like the voice acting might annoy me. I feel like the kids might annoy me. I remember liking this movie, though. I think I'm getting old and cranky. Do you guys ever feel old and cranky about things?" We do indeed, Bobo. And your comment leads us right into
especially one of us
ways Homeward Bound makes us cranky. It's time for our Worst three things. Our top two things we disliked. And this time I'm going to start with Paul. What's something you didn't like about Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, the longest title in history?
Animal control can't control animals.
Well, yeah, what was that about? Oh my gosh.
What the heck? It's at this point, there were a couple hints, but when you have a dog holding the door against a human weighing 3 times its weight, you realize this is for kids, not for the whole family.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments like that, Paul.
There's a few.
Okay, all right. Let's go to Gerald next. What's something you didn't like? Was it the animal control? Was it something about the unbelievability or something else?
Nah, I would have loved more of the animals to have voices. Like maybe the mountain lion or or Birdzilla. I mean, I think they did a little bit of it in the shelter with the dogs talking to Sassy.
Yes, the dogs, yeah.
Could you imagine if the mountain lion was voiced by Arnold Schwarzenegger? Oh, that would have been amazing.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
That would have been hilarious.
That may have bumped up my brain. Not that it needs to be bumped up.
But I think that would have just been like a fun way to do it. Just add a little extra to it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And so I was thinking, they can't cross species talk, but then they have cats and dogs talking. So yeah, that sort of throws that out. Yeah. Okay, totally fair.
So I mean, it was just I had to look for things on this one. I was rewatching it. I was really enjoying it. So
okay, nice.
I can give you some of mine that I'm
sure you guys could, but I was just watching it. I really got back into it. I'm like, I was having fun with it.
That's so great to hear. Drew, what's something you didn't like, though? What wasn't great for you to hear about this movie that you watched?
When I first saw this movie back in, I think, 93 or 94, I actually had this problem with the movie. That's how long I've not liked this particular moment. And it's the scene where Peter goes to the police station to report the dogs and cats missing.
Yes.
As much as I like to think of dogs and cats as family members, they're not human beings. You don't go to the police station. You go to the animal.
But he is a kid. What does he know?
He wouldn't know that.
What, 12, 13? He's practically able to drive. He should know better.
Look, I'm a middle-aged man, and I don't know that.
Admittedly, I wouldn't know who to go to report a missing dog or cat, but I would assume it would be someone in the animal shelter, not in the police station.
I think you should call your congressman and say, hey, my dog's missing. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
You want to be reelected.
Report it to the president.
There you go.
I don't think any of the last 15 presidents would have given a care.
No, probably
not. And neither did the police. Okay.
I thought that policeman was awfully nice to him.
Yes,
he did a switch there.
I agree.
I was
with
like,
that.
whoa, that's too much of a switch.
I'm just saying, you don't go to the police to report a missing dog and cat. Not even in a little bitty town, much less, was it San Francisco?
San Francisco, yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, they're more understanding there in San Francisco as far as pets are concerned. No, they're not.
I agree with you on that point. Drew, something that, now I don't know if you guys will agree with me about this, but I don't know if it's necessarily related, and maybe it's a misconception on my part. I just viewed the movie wrong, but that moment when...
Were you facing the wrong way?
Yeah, that's it. I was looking backwards at the wall. Where's this movie at? I just hear it. It's an audio experience.
What do you mean?
Why can't I find it?
Listen to my words, guys. Okay, let me lay this out. That scene where Sassy's getting fish for them, and then the one for a chance goes up on the land and the bears are investigating. As far as I can tell, those were black bears looking at the fish, maybe cubs, I don't know. But then out of the forest comes a grizzly bear, which is supposed to be the mom or something. Why is a grizzly bear hanging out with black bear cubs? It did not make any sense.
They're adopted.
Admittedly,
this is not the bear. This is not the bear, and both of those were grizzlies. So no, don't give me that.
I'm going to admit right now, I have never seen grizzly bear cubs, so I can't tell you what color they are. So it didn't bug me.
Oh, you know what? Let me Google that right now. We have this fancy thing called Google. So let's see.
I don't Google during the movie.
Or during a podcast.
I just didn't watch close enough.
I noticed they were different colors, but I just thought, well, maybe young bears hair will brighten. Young grizzly bear fur, just fades over time. Like I know some black cat's fur does.
I mean, for the most part, there's lots of images that it varies, but it is a golden tint like grizzly bears. That isn't black like the black bears.
Are you against interracial marriages and couples and families?
My gosh, Paul, are you seriously with that?
That's what it sounds like.
You know what?
You don't like mulatto bears.
So here,
why is it always got to be a color thing?
So these are the darkest up here. The rest are pretty standard
that's what they
gold.
Were in the movie.
No, they were not. They were black
They're
bears.
in between there.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong. It's just I'm just gonna say it didn't mess with me.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
fine, guys, fine. Well, what was the things that messed with you the most, Drew? Your tragic maker.
The thing that messed with me the most is the simple fact that I can't decide if I like the ending or not.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Because here's the thing.
Yeah, go for it.
There's a part of me that wants to go, oh yeah, the dog somehow was able to get up out of the pit.
Well,
and
Chance motivated him.
Yeah, but then Cels was able to catch up fast enough that he was able to be just a little bit behind Sassy.
Yes.
And then there's
he's slow.
And then there's also moments earlier, like when Sassy goes over the waterfall, part of me wants to go, yeah, the cat's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on. And yet, I can say in both instances, I had tears in my eyes when both came out alive.
Yeah.
So my tragic maker has more to do with myself in the movie. I can't tell if I'm mad, if I'm upset, that I have conflicted feelings between realism and sentimentality.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Well, can I comment for a moment? This was deceptive for me. I honestly thought I remembered Chance getting behind Shadow and pushing him up that muddy cliff or side or something.
Tried, didn't he?
No, they cut away after Chance goes down and talks to him. They cut away and they're at the family's place.
Maybe they decided to edit that out with the, his butt in his nose kind of thing. Like, we don't need that in Family Friends.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe.
I'm sure that's it. Oh, my gosh.
Well, that scene is actually my tragic maker, because
really?
I would have...
Okay, awesome.
Because, obviously I've seen the movie before, so I know the ending. I know Shadow makes it. And I'll admit, I forgot the waterfall scene. I forgot Sassy going over.
Yeah.
I forgot Sassy going over. So when, obviously, I know Sassy's going to make it, I would have a hard time believing that Shadow's not, even when he drops into the cliff, into the pit.
Yeah.
So what I would have loved to, like, maybe they rest overnight, because I wouldn't expect Chance and Sassy to leave. I would, like, the scene goes dark, like, they stayed the night there. I would have loved to see, like, Chance actually get him out.
Yes.
But if you did, you wouldn't know if he's not making it at the end. That's the part that kind of pulls at your strings.
I understand why they did it, but after Sassy's made the waterfall and it's a Disney movie, I'm putting money that all three animals are making it back. Yeah. So I would have loved to have seen, like,
wow.
I would have loved to have seen, like, this big triumphant like Chance stepping up and actually getting Shadow out of the pit.
Oh, the hero moment.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Paul, don't you know that Bambi's mom just got lost in the forest after that scene?
Oh.
That's why you don't see her again. She's alive.
Okay.
And I suppose
she heard the shot and ran off.
Right.
Okay. I suppose Old Yeller just got lost in the forest also.
Yes.
Yeah, to go find Bambi's mom.
Exactly.
Wow.
Also, I'd like to point out that after Shadow runs to Peter, while he's running, he's got the limp that he should have from, falling in there. It's miraculously gone the minute he touches Peter.
Yes, it's the healing factor.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Peter's an alien like E.T.
Apparently.
That's why he goes to the police station. He doesn't know Barry because he's an alien. He's like, oh, these guys look official. Let me ask them. All right. So my tragic maker is related in some regard to Daryl's. And it seems so unbelievable that these dogs and cats could go that distance and survive it. I could see one of them maybe, but all three of them, it just was way unbelievable. And I don't know.
They're better together.
What if I were to tell you that the story that this is based on, which is based on a book, which is actually based on a real story?
Right.
Okay. Based how much?
Admittedly, it was in Canada, not in the Sierra Nevada mountains. But apparently they did, these two dogs and a cat did somehow make it across this great wilderness and found their family.
And the Sierra Mountains go up that far, don't they?
Well, I mean the California Sierra Nevadas, not the Canadian Sierra Nevadas.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if it's called the Sierra Nevada up that high.
Here's the thing. I could see.
You're a skeptic and you don't believe it. Okay.
If animals
it is unlikely.
If animals go with their owners out, let's say, to the mountains, and then the animals get lost and the owners have to go back home, I could see the animals following their scent trail back home. But to go from home to a completely foreign place and not know how they got there, to then having to cross this complete wilderness back to their original home.
Yeah, other animals have done it.
I mean, Shadow
dropped them off in the middle of nowhere, and they found their way home miles.
I mean, Shadow is a retriever, so he kind of knows where home is.
Yeah. Some animals have that built in them.
Okay.
Ask God if you have a problem with
I
that.
will ask God. I will. Maybe in our spiritual speculation, we'll ask God about it. But okay, all right, fine. But it just seems unlikely. And I think it would have, I almost wonder if it would have been more powerful if Shadow hadn't survived the end. Or maybe.
Yeah.
Or he does, but Sassy dies, and then that raises the stakes. Oh, will Shadow make it at the end? And I don't know.
Right. That's kind of what I was getting at. It's like these moments are what I normally see in film and what I'm expecting to raise the stakes.
Exactly.
And while I hate, and on some degree, to see them come back, my heart swells and I get teary-eyed seeing them come back because of the sentimentality based into it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel conflicted.
No way Chance would have made it on his own without Shadow's direction.
I agree.
I don't know. Of the three, Chance did live on the street before he got caught by the
That's
pound.
true.
Yeah, but he would.
He at least had
the way
some
they set
street
the
smarts.
movie up. The way they set the movie up, he wouldn't know which way to go. I'm just within
That's true.
the universe of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. He didn't feel that was home until he got there at the end.
Yeah.
Well, that leaves you, Exo. What's your attraction maker for Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey, the longest title in history?
Before we get there, I have a bonus one.
Ooh.
Is that they never explained the note. Like, I'm going to go take the animals with me.
I would love to know.
Yeah, I was wondering what is the second part of that would make sense to link with that.
Yeah.
I didn't get it either.
So anyway, that was the bonus.
Okay.
All right. The thing that I found the most tragic about this, and I would have to maybe categorize it under slow and boring, because this movie dragged for me. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was my attitude or something, but I kept checking my watch throughout it. There were moments, I would maybe say it's the pacing, because there were moments like when the puma or wildcat is chasing him, or when the cat goes over the waterfall. There were moments that I was fully engaged.
Yeah.
But there were others that I was not, and it was hard to stay. And maybe that's just because of product of the times. I'm used to movies, going, edited quicker and stuff.
How many of those moments were with the humans?
A lot.
Yeah.
So,
because my bonus one would have been the fact that all the human characters are completely pointless in the story.
That would be interesting to see that.
Yeah, I had kind of the opposite, because the family didn't have much. My third one, if I had had one, is I would have loved to have seen a little more with the family.
Oh, okay.
Like Peter, like all three of the kids at the end of the movie are calling the guy Dad, and they've been a family for 2 weeks. It's like Dad put up posters that now all of a sudden he's cool. It's like,
he showed that he cared, so now we like him.
But like, I think what you're saying, Daryl, it's a bit too compacted. So more breath for that transition or transformation.
Yeah, like
happening.
more, like get a little more story with the family itself.
Exactly. So Paul, what you're saying though is you're like, Shadow, something's wrong. It's been too long. This movie's going on too long. Something's wrong.
Something like that,
Okay. All right, guys. Well, now that we've all entered our firing trajectories into the targeting computer, Alice, you have a firing solution for us.
Firing solution complete. Rating salvo at the ready. On your mark.
All right, time to stretch our salvo authority.
Okay, so it's time for the moment of truth. Do we rate Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey, the longest title in history, a classic? We'd recommend anyone go see this, whether or not you've seen it before. It's worth your time to pop this movie in and give it a watch. A nostalgic, if you remember liking it as a kid, like you grew up watching this movie, it's watch it again. You'll get all the feels and enjoy seeing the animals and all that. But if you've never seen this movie, probably go watch something else. I don't know, Cats versus Dogs, whatever.
Oh no.
Okay, I don't know, some other Air Bud, some other animal movie, or a tragic. We'd recommend no one see this film, whether or not you've seen it before. If you have fond memories, don't rewatch it, because rewatching it will sully them. If you've never seen it, then just steer clear. So let's start with Drew this time. What is your final reign for Homeward Bound? And you going with a prediction of nostalgic, what did it end up for you?
It ended up a classic for me.
Whoa.
I had not seen this movie since I was a kid.
Yeah, same here.
Which I think it was a VHS I wore out.
Whoa.
So I don't even, I had to have been thrown away a long time ago, but I hadn't seen it in a good 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And I was just so pleasantly surprised at it. And like I said, those moments were so emotional for me. I got into it, and it's like, yeah, this is a movie I wish I'd come back and watched more recently now.
Aww, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Very cool. Daryl, how about you? You were also a nostalgic prediction. What did it end up?
I agree with Paul. Coming back to this movie, it brought back a lot of memories. I'll disagree with Paul. I didn't get bored with this one at all. It pulled me right back in watching it again. So it's definitely a classic for me.
Classic for Daryl. Paul, you predicted classic. Did it end up that high?
Maybe I just had the wrong attitude because I was expecting, like Drew and Daryl, to go into this movie that I once really enjoyed and like have these great moments and feelings, but they felt kind of forced. Honestly, watching it this time, it's like, I see they're trying to pull out my heartstrings, even though I know they're gonna make it. Like it's kind of. So I was disappointed. I wrote down tragic.
Whoa!
Wow!
What a swing! Oh my goodness. Well, before we get to my reign, wow. In chat, let's see. Ashley says, nostalgic for this gal. One day I will revisit. Nice. So for me, this movie was the perfect.
Wow, taking the Band-Aid off real slow here.
Perfect encapsulation of what we say most every time when we're explaining what our rating system is. And tragic being, if you have fond memories, don't sully them with a rewatch. Because I had such fond memories of this movie. And rewatching this totally wrecked it for me. It just like marred those memories for me because it wasn't, there were good moments for sure. But it was maybe too sentimental, or I don't know what it was about it necessarily. It wasn't that they were talking animals because they weren't really talking. Their mouths were not moving. They're psychically linked,
ESP,
which is fine. Okay. I'm fine with that. I mean, animals have different senses. Okay, cool, that's fine.
Nice.
So
no bad CG mouth movements.
No bad CG.
That's a good point. And the training, I was amazed.
Oh, the training was great. Yes,
to do.
And out in the wilderness, like Daryl was saying, in real life, it was great. But so much of it seemed staged, I guess I'll say. It didn't seem realistic in a lot of ways, and I just it seemed a bit too sappy, and it didn't seem adventurous enough, I guess I want to say. For an adventure, it seemed like it was supposed to be very adventurous, but it didn't seem.
We're used to the Matrix and all
maybe.
This. That's the problem.
And like I think Daryl was saying, there wasn't enough stakes to make the adventure meaningful. I think that's what it is. Maybe add another animal that gets killed off or something, just to make it so that there's some way that this journey means something more. Or maybe one of the kids dies. Maybe Shadow comes back, but then that oldest kid died somehow.
We've had this problem before where you're like, kill the kids.
And you wonder why we think you don't have a heart.
I'm sure he was disobedient. So whatever.
Well, that's why he was at the police station. After all.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, I know you guys in chat are saying, Sappy's fine, and Sappy is fine sometimes, but for this one, for me, it was tragic. So, unfortunately, we are at an impasse. We have 2 classics to 2 tragics. So, we're going to have to go to our patrons, our Reflex Capacitors. At the $5 level, you will get to have a say in what the final rating is. So, Reflex Capacitors at the $5 level, what was your final vote? Will it swing us to classic or tragic? Thank you, Francisco from the past. Our patrons at the $5 more level, thank you again so much for voting. And they overwhelmingly picked classic for Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, The Longest Tale in History. So according to the Retro Rewind podcast, we collectively rate, thanks to our patrons, Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey, The Longest Tale in History, a disputed classic film. We recommend anyone go see this, whether or not they've seen it before. All right, back to the RRP crew from the past. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Is that, they picked that? Can you guys believe this?
Wow. Yes.
So weird.
Yeah.
I mean, weird, but I'm a little shocked. But okay. Well,
I'm not. It makes sense.
now that we have that very surprising final reign, let's get back to our own time, good old 20XX.
20XX?
Comsat online. Receiving incoming transmission.
It feels good to be back, but we wouldn't have been able to travel back to 1993 to begin with if it weren't for our amazing reflux capacitors, namely Jared Holzhauer, Deborah Powers, Brian Keating, Patrick Hicks, LJ Lowry, Chris Cowan, The Feeling Film Podcast, Chris Owens, Geek Devotions, The Untold Podcast, Mrs. Lomax, James Kennison, Drew of the Cellcast, oh, he's right here, Ashley Cronenbitter, Pastor Dewson, Kennethan, Redeemed Otaku, Ryan Lingle, That's Our Babo, Josh Adams, D. Tungsten, and returning patron Andy Lewis, in addition to 5 other awesome patrons as well. Thank you all so much for keeping the gigawatts coming. And if you want to help us keep flying for as little as $1 a month and get bonus content for your generosity, we just released 3 awesome reviews of each season of Cobra Kai, which you'll have access to for just $1 a month. Head over to
One of them contains the S.
Great. Thanks for pointing that out, Paul. Yes, Red Band bonus content for your patrons. Not really. Yes, it does have that accidentally. Regardless, head over to retrorewindpodcast.com/support to help us grow via Patreon, Subscribestar, or PayPal.
This stream is sponsored by PaulJPowers.com.
And while we're thanking our supporters, we also want to give a big dog and cat hug plus another dog hug to both Drew and Daryl for supporting us with their thoughts about Homeward Bound tonight. So let's start alphabetically and start with Daryl. Where can people find you online? Is there anything cool that's going on that you'd like people to know about?
You can find me on Facebook. Just look up my name. I know I'm friends with at least a few members of the retro community. The Retro Rewind community. I don't have anything specific coming up because the one thing I'm doing is going to be over by the time this airs.
Bummer.
So, but I don't. The show I was supposed to direct last year has been currently pushed to July, but even that may or may not happen depending on if we can start doing rehearsals. Right now they're saying that August might be the first show we can do live, which would mean my show gets pushed back again because there's already a show booked in July. So
that's the
I don't have anything.
The hiding place, right?
Yeah, the hiding place. Yeah, it was supposed to be like last June. Then it was supposed to be in March. Now it's in July, and it might get pushed again.
So become friends with Daryl to find out the most up-to-date information. He'll tell you.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. All right. And let's go to Drew. Thanks so much for being on again. Where can people find you on the interwebs? And is there anything cool you are doing people should know about? Like petting tribbles or something?
Maybe.
There they are.
I do a podcast called The Cellcast where we review animated movies and animated TV shows. Mm-hmm. I don't know what movie will be out when we record, when this ep releases, because due to Snowpocalypse 2021 here in Texas, our schedules may have to rearrange, and so I'm not sure exactly what's going to be out, but I can tell you on the TV show side, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you can catch us reviewing Tangled the series right now.
Oh,
so
cool.
Go give a listen to that.
Very nice.
All right.
And what was the website for that again?
That's at thecellcast.podbean.com, and cell is spelled with a single L.
Awesome.
Don't go to the other cell. I don't know what you're going to find.
Okay. Thank you again so much, Drew and Daryl, and a hearty thanks to those of you listening for the first time. And of course, all of you who are part of our Rad Rewinder community. You all who watch us live every week, whether we are recording this podcast or I'm playing a retro game, or are an amazing group of people helping sustain the pod. But if you're looking for ways to get involved growing this Retro Rewind endeavor, reach out to us on social media where we are at Retro Rewind Pod pretty much everywhere. But you could buy some of our merch, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. become a monthly patron, like we've said before, or simply just share your favorite episode of the podcast with a friend so that more people can enjoy the content of the Retro Rewind pod.
So be kind and share Rewind, because dogs rule and cats drool.
I beg to differ.
Yes. No, you do not differ.
Oh, I differ.
Yeah, he does.
I differ a lot.
You have been listening to RetroRewindPodcast.com/220. Our review of Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey with me as your XO, PaulJPowers.com. Find me online and all my socials at PaulJPowers.com.
Thank you for being an amazing friend for another fun voyage, Paul. I have been and continue to be the captain of the pod, Francisco Ruiz. Find me on Twitter at FXRetro_, especially if you need pixel artwork commissioned.
And we've been commissioned to announce we are part of the Christian Geek Central network at ChristianGeekCentral.com. Captain, we are on final approach to base. Salvo authority has been granted.
Thank you, XO, and thank you all for listening. We pray you are more joyful now than when you first hit play. But, like a Pokemon, we gotta catch you all for Liar Liar, our next episode of the Retro Rewind podcast.
Retro Rewind mission complete. Proceed to nav point Omega and return to base.
Hey, Paul, you know what we haven't reviewed in a while?
Young Indiana Jones!
Then it is something that man was not meant to disturb. Trust me.
Are you making this up as you go along?
Yeah?
You don't believe me. You will, Dr. Jones.
Mission accomplished. Full throttle.
No break. Those people are trying to kill us.
I know, Dad!
It's a new experience for me. Happens to me all the time.
Welcome back. It's a new year and the final set, I guess, of Young Indiana Jones, where every other episode we're going to be reviewing, or every month we're going to be reviewing of an episode of Young Indiana Jones as we make our way to the final film in the trilogy, in fact, just the final film of Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones and Last Crusade, which we'll be covering this coming Christmas. But for now, we're at episode 13 or chapter 13 of Young Indiana Jones. And Paul, will you give us some technical aspects, like what's this called? When did it come out? All that stuff.
All right. So this is The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, chapter 13, called Young Indiana Jones and the Attack of the Hawkmen. This was actually... believe it or not, it seems like it's 2 episodes in one when you watch it, like all the others. But this was actually a special that was all aired all at one time.
Really?
Movie on October 8th, 1995.
Oh, okay, cool.
So
2 years after Homeward Bound.
Give us, yeah. So not long after. Would you care to give us the synopsis?
Yes, I'll try.
Of this.
Hour
and a half special.
If it's 1 hour and a half, I guess I only get one sentence then. So here's
I'll let you get to if they're short.
Okay. Indy is a photographer on a spy biplane, which photographs the Red Baron, a very famous. That's the famous character for the first part. Then. After that, he has to, I guess he gets flown by Charles Lindbergh. Is that who that is? The guy who goes across the Atlantic? He talks about that. And so...
That was my assumption.
Okay. Well...
But it doesn't... Anyway.
Regardless. To go into Germany to try to buy the... I was going to say the brains, but buy buy someone off to help the Allies with their better military industrial complex.
Yes,
and so he's a spy on a plane, then a spy on the ground. There's your summary for Young Indiana Jones.
There we go.
Chapter 12.
So disappointed there weren't any Hawkmen, or Hawkwomen from the Justice League.
There's lots of
would have been interesting
disappointments in this one. But let's start off, guys. Just let's go real quick. One thing you liked about this chapter of Young Indiana Jones, Daryl. Let's start with you. And also curious, you can also start off this way, Drew and Daryl. Have you seen Young Indiana Jones before, or was this your first exposure to this video?
Personally, this was my first exposure. I mean, I've heard some of your guys' other reviews of them, and to me, it didn't scream Indiana Jones. To me, it was a war movie that happened to have a character named Indy.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, yes.
But for what it was, I actually thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Oh, nice.
I thought it was actually pretty good. For me, the one thing I liked is, I'll say they didn't sugarcoat, like being like an indie movie, they didn't sugarcoat the dangers of war.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of it, you've got the two friends being split up, and you got them being like macho, like, oh, we're just going to say goodbye. But the one guy's like, no, dude, I'm going to give you a hug. We might not see each other. And then just like, but it's just like when Indy gets to the camp, they're just like, we haven't had a photographer last more than 8 days.
Yeah.
Type thing. Like they didn't sugarcoat it, which you see in some like, I think like a PG type TV show, they might kind of sugarcoat some of the dangers of it, and they didn't. And I appreciate it.
Totally.
Yeah, I like that they had that him and Remy had a goodbye moment, because I don't think we're going to see Remy anymore. Well, I hope we do, but I think
we must, because I remember trivia in Temple of Doom said that him and Remy are after the Peacock Diamond at some point, which he ends up finding in the beginning of Temple of Doom. So, unless that was
okay, well, so we'll see.
Unless that was
maybe that was
made up,
something. We already saw it and didn't catch on.
Oh, I guess that could be. But they've just been in war this whole time, so I don't think it would be.
No, I thought that was part of. Did you say it was in the jewels that was part of the first Jackal one? Not the Jackal itself, but
I don't know. I don't remember that.
Anyway, we're going off on a tangent.
Yeah, pretty much. Was that something you liked though, Paul? That Remy and him did get to see, or Remy's gone now?
Yeah, I did enjoy that. It's funny because my wife watched the first several Indiana Jones, basically all of them when he was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And then she thought it was like, this show is so ridiculous, slow and boring, that she stopped watching. And then she heard like, she sees like every once in a while, oh, that's Sean Patrick,
Flannery,
he's cute. Why did I stop watching this? And she walked in to this one. I'm watching it, and she walked in right as Indiana Jones is in the back of the truck, and he's punching the Germans like hopping from one to another.
Totally like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yes.
Yeah, and so full of. So to me, this episode, just the opposite of what Daryl said. Compared to all the other episodes we watched, this one kind of screams Indiana Jones more than the others.
Yes, it does.
In that adventure way. So now most of it is boring, but there are those adventurous moments that felt like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and going off that, the thing I liked was him in the second part, him being a spy and putting on the German uniform. All that was again very reminiscent of him in the submarine part of Raiders of the Lost Ark, where he tries to put on a uniform and he's spying around trying to find the Ark, find oh my gosh, what's her name? Marion.
Marion,
yeah. So I agree, Paul. A lot of this felt very pulpy, very much like an Indiana Jones thing, or a story. But yeah. So that's what I liked. Drew, how about you?
This was not the first exposure I had to Indiana Jones, because y'all made me watch the Indiana Jones in Love episode last year.
Oh, I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I really hope that was the worst episode, but I have a feeling, listening to y'all's reviews, it wasn't.
Yes.
Which scares me. But what I liked about this one, and y'all may not know this, but my studies in graphic design also included photography.
Mm-hmm.
So I was keeping a good close eye on that view camera he was using in the back of that plane the whole time, and enjoying the fool out of watching him having to deal with that while, hanging outside the plane, nearly about to fall out to his death.
Yeah. Can I just...
entire time.
Do any of you know if that's realistic? Because it seems like it'd be so much simpler to just cut a hole in the bottom of your seat and just put the camera right there so you're staying down the whole time.
That would be under the assumption that that plane was primarily being used for photography, because you wouldn't want to have to replace that, I guess. I don't know.
And the holes might be very thin, and so it might have better. It might have
those are cloth planes. Cloth covered
and then you might have more security to attach the camera on the side rather than
I suppose
if it was a metal plane, I'd be right there with you, Francisco. But
okay.
I have a feeling the strongest part of that plane that they could attach that camera mount to was the side of it right there where he had to hang out over it.
All right.
Change those plates out.
Fair. Okay.
And I'm not saying that this show is 100% historically accurate, but given the attention, the details that they do, I would assume that if that was the norm, that they would follow.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, cool, guys. Well, very good. Now let's get into the things we didn't like about Young Indiana Jones. And you know, talking about this part of him flying around, I could not for the life of me figure out why they would make him like I was thinking, okay, so they're making him photography. Oh, he doesn't like to fly. Since when does he not like to fly? I don't remember this because
I'm so glad I'm not the only person who was thinking that.
Yeah, I mean that's never
snakes. I understand.
Yes. That's never hinted at in the movies at all. So I'm like, okay, so maybe he gets over his fear of flying. But okay, but I felt like they had a great opportunity to, okay, he's in the back seat, he's taking pictures. Oh, what if the pilot gets shot or something? And he has to take over flying. And so he sort of learns how to fly. And then in Last Crusade, he's like, flying, yes. Landing, no. Okay, so he has
that's Temple of Doom.
No, it's not. It's Last Crusade. They're up in the
we haven't what?
Because I remember it because it's an amazing movie. Because they're up in the Zeppelin and they have to go in. They have to escape via the biplane.
He also said, sorry, I haven't seen it in a while, but he also says.
Oh, he did at the beginning.
Temple of Doom. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As they're flying and they're about to hit the mountain. He said, "Do you know how to flying? Yes, landing."
Okay, I had forgotten that. Okay, regardless,
I had forgotten that too.
Regardless. It seemed like a perfect opportunity to set that up where he'd get some experience flying, but that doesn't happen at all. So I
thought he's had experience in flying in some of the episodes as well, but never. I've been on the lookout. He's never landed one.
Yeah. Oh, and wasn't there a girl pilot back when he was in Africa that I felt like it would have been perfect for her to come back in this one, but but that didn't happen.
That's Africa.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Whatever. So that's the thing I didn't like is that it seemed like they could have set up the movies or I know these came after the movies, but they could have played into what the movies had done better.
Like a good prequel series would do.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah.
Let's go with Drew next. What's something you didn't like about this episode? Probably you want more love and stuff in this, right?
No. Okay. I mean, a love interest would have been nice. But it didn't.
That was funny, though, the girl on the train.
The story didn't need it.
Yeah.
I will say the part I did not like the most was that stupid plane that was it the Germans at the end of that? Yeah, the Germans. I forgot who they were fighting. In World War I.
Oh, with the really big plane thing?
That stupid huge plane thing. I was like, no, I don't think they would have built that back then. That's a little big for this time period.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that buys you having a bigger plane, by the way. I'm not sure what
it holds more fuel so you can make it all the way to New York and back.
That was the thought process. And that's why it would have had so many wings to give it more lift. At the same time, I'm still looking at it and going, that is ridiculous looking. And it doesn't help that this was not the best use of model work. Composited with regular footage.
Yeah,
blue screen
exactly.
Footage. Yeah, it was not. I mean, I've seen 60s era Godzilla films that did it better.
Whoa.
Green screen in that final shot was the one that stood out to me, like behind that plane.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Though I will say, I was going to say the explosion of the factory looked great. I thought that looked amazing. But okay, go ahead, Paul.
That was cool. And I thought I don't know if I've ever seen more airplane footage in anything else in my entire life.
Well,
like within a...
Yeah.
But anyway,
in a
I thought that was
TV show
good.
environment, yes.
Here's the thing with that, though. I don't know how and I'm not a filmmaker. I'm not sure how you overcome it, but I do know Top Gun. I was able to track who are the good guys, who are the bad guys, who I was rooting for at all points. In this, I didn't know who was who. They were just a bunch of biplanes flying around. I didn't.
That's because the Red Baron didn't get his signature plane until near the end.
But still,
that first half.
But still,
plus, if you're gonna bring in the Red Baron, you know the only guy who can beat him is Snoopy.
Oh my god,
yeah, that's true.
Regardless, I wish they would have done something to make it. Oh, okay, I know that's Indy's plane. It has a signature something on it that okay, I can track him.
Indian head.
Yeah, it had the coffin on it.
The pirate. It was more of a pirate flag, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I thought it was a Native American.
Skull and crossbones.
That was later. Yeah, that was one of the planes.
No, that was Charlie's plane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Charlie, not Jaeger.
Yeah.
Anyway, Daryl, what was something you didn't like about this episode?
So I thought like a lot of the fight scenes were cool, but the way they had like Indy surviving a lot of the fights were completely unrealistic. Like the swirling around as the plane like holding on, and then that one I'm just like, okay, fine, if he gets lucky and holds on to it, I'll buy that one. But the one that to me was completely unrealistic is when he uses the wires to like
pull
the rudders up and
that's gonna cut
hold them for however long.
And
I'm just like that seemed that kind of took me out a little bit. Just like it seemed so unrealistic to me.
Exactly.
To hold that up for 40 kilometer flight home or whatever it was. It's like I'm not buying that one.
Yeah, totally.
So
I guess that leaves Paul. What's something you didn't like about this? What? There was one, wasn't there? At least one.
There was one Wilhelm scream in this. That was nice. I'll throw in a bonus because it's not really. It's just a missed opportunity when towards the end where he cuts the rope and he swings down. That would have been a great music cue to introduce.
Yes.
Such a missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
But maybe it has to do with rights or whatever. But one of the more unrealistic thing, and it always takes me out whenever I see this in movies. I don't know why they do it in TV shows because I guess it's not good writing. Whenever the hero is involved, being chased by the enemy, if he's far away, they will shoot at him, try to kill him. But as soon as they come in within reach, we're not going to try to kill you anymore. We're going to capture you. And so you'll be fine and you can live to save the day. This is wartime. Come on. You're going to shoot to kill regardless.
This is war,
look,
Peacock.
Are you going to kill him or not?
Do not make a problem without breaking eggs. Every cook will tell you that.
Exactly. So if you're going to go kill him, then you shoot him. And if you get closer, you shoot him to make him dead. Come on.
That's a very fair point.
Does anybody know, would it have been realistic for that pilot to have like taken Indy to his house and like treat him to a meal like that? It's kind of like a level of respect. I'm like, part of me is like, I buy that, and part of me is like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, because we're talking about World War I era where I think the pilots are kind of treated like the cavalry, where they're obviously the higher paid people.
Mm-hmm.
But I have for all I know, that guy was a lord and was just being nice.
Yeah.
To someone he liked.
He was a baron.
Sorry, baron.
Yeah. And
he's nobility, and European nobility, they get to do a lot of stuff normal people wouldn't do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the same time, go to the mess hall.
Wow. Anyway, guys. Okay, so we stopped ranking these like the best Indiana Jones ones, so I think we'll just end there unless you remember, Paul.
So based on this episode.
Oh, would we want to keep watching? Right, that's what it is.
Exactly.
Okay. So, Daryl, based on what you've seen of this episode, and I guess you could also factor in what you've heard us talk about in previous ones, but mainly this one, would you want to continue watching Young Indiana Jones to see what happens?
If it was just this one, yes.
Okay.
I don't know about the other ones, but I enjoyed this one. I would love to see more, like, follow this story.
Okay, cool. How about you, Drew?
I would not go back and watch Kid Indy because I've already watched more of that than I intended to. But honestly, the adult Indy stuff, this is looking pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I'm going to go to the trouble of watching it because, I don't have a copy of it anywhere.
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Is it back on Amazon?
Well, I don't know. I got it off of Amazon.
Gotcha.
Like right when we started watching this, so I have all these on DVD.
Nice.
So Paul, you're committed to watching them all, but would you want to if you weren't?
Yeah. Probably not. I mean, I've wanted to, but honestly, if I wasn't quote unquote being forced to, I'd have a hard time convincing myself because there's so many other things that I want.
Yeah.
To see. But this is I agree. Like what Daryl said, this is one of the better ones.
Absolutely.
And because of that, I'm looking forward to more of these.
Mm-hmm. I'd say it's the same for me. I'm trepidatious as always. Like pretty much every episode, I'm like, okay, is this gonna be a good one or a bad one? but they do seem to be scaling more and more toward being better. So I have a bit more.
I think he's becoming more indie.
Yeah. I think that's a good way of putting it. Exactly. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Drew. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you, Paul. And for me, Francisco, we bid you a whoop-pa. There you go.